Subscribe to Alex Freeman. On March 16th, 2087, a train collided into the sea in the docks of a gas plant near Galveston, Texas. Union Pacific 405, as well as Santa Fe 9553, as well as Santa Fe 6477. The train it was carrying was fuel tankers full of carbon monoxide used in hospitals. The boxcars are containing of Marlboro cigarettes. Union Pacific 405 was in the lead and was heading down the tracks. Nearby was a junction in nearby Hitchcock, nearby a private neighborhood which is unknown. On the junction is MKT 707 and an unmarked MKT EMD. And in the back of the train is Santa Fe 550. However, this MKT engineer is about to witness one of the unsolved mysteries in the stolen empire's history. Union Pacific's 405's engineer called ahead to the MKT to halt its train at the junction for them to pass. All trains are heading to your way. Are you halted? Over. Indubitably. Our trains are halted and ready when you are gone. This is Galveston County 303. Can you please hurry it up because we have to shut our trains pretty soon. This is Union Pacific 405. We are gonna get there when we get there. Thank you. Over. The engineer tried to use its brakes so it can slow down while passing the two engines. However, they failed. And so Union Pacific 405 ran down the line heading towards Galveston. The MKT train was on the right while the Union Pacific was on the left, so the train shook by with a shock flash, according to what the engineer on the MKT train said. Nearby a river crossing nearby a suburban neighborhood was Union Pacific DS 4587 and was carrying a coal train out of the Texas City power plant. Thankfully, it did stop just in time before the Union Pacific passed through. And if that wasn't enough, a third incident was almost about to happen. It was a drawbridge in which a steamboat by the name of Katui was going through it. Thankfully, it was already down in war. The Union Pacific engine soon arrived at 11 a.m. At this point, the Galveston County Railroad 303 engineer got pretty tired of waiting, so he, outrightly standing despite disobeying orders, went over to the switch, but saw the engine, and desperately reversed back his train just in time before the Union Pacific flew by him. When the train went over the curve, it happened. 911, what is your emergency?
Yeah, a train crashed into the river. It came out of the yard, and a train was almost hit.
You're saying a train crashed into the bay?
I think the driver's still in there. And damn, look at it all.
The Union Pacific engine, as well as the two Santa Fe locomotives, plunged into the dike, or the bay, I should say. The engineer of the Galveston County 303 locomotive immediately called the 911 service line, and immediately first responders came in as in a flash. Fire trucks as well as ambulance and police cars flew everywhere on the small busy freeway. However, when they got there, they met a floating dead body of the engineer. The co-engineer, also known as the assistant engineer, managed to get out alive. He's the only person that died in the disaster. So how did this happen, you may say? Now, it was no secret that the engineer of the Union Pacific locomotive was an alcoholic, because in bars such as like Hitchcock, Texas City, Texas, Galveston County, almost everywhere on that county, had reported drug charges against him due to a background check. If Santa Fe 6477 was on the front leading, the disaster could have been prevented because it had positive train control, supplied air brakes, and emergency brakes that worked proper, but not the lead engine, due to the fact of many faulties. Another background check on the engineer on the Union Pacific engineer stated that he almost caused an accident in Galveston, this time in its yard, while Galveston County shunter was coming out of the yard and near the fuel station near the accident site. Thankfully, an automatic derail prevented this. The engineer of the Union Pacific was running half an hour late, so it could have been possible he was speeding. As of now, it's still unknown. In the end, the Union Pacific crew were responsible for the accident. And since that, according to NSA law, it is required that if the person dies who committed the crime, then the person who is involved in the crime too has to be charged with the same exact charge. So, the assistant engineer was charged and was sentenced to 3 years in a federal penitentiary for terrorism acts against the nation. For an American, Mexican, and Canadian country, I still find that really cruel. 3 years later, the Sans Gratitude collision happened. It was eerily similar, otherwise not much, because of faulty signals as well as other ones caused the accident of both of them. However, Marcus gave his condolences, but also called out the NSA president, Alex Freeman, an irresponsible person to check its railroad conditions. Which Alex Freeman responded, "If the Galveston County Railroad realized what those signals were doing near Hitchcock, they would have done it. Otherwise, the CEO or president of the company will be immediately sent to prison by my command." Even Sans Gratitude, the leader of the SSSR, gave his condolences, saying he was mortified and felt saddened at the death of the engineer. And he said this: "By the gods, it could have been even much worse. It could have tipped over on the other side, reaching to those big, huge, massive gas pipes. The NSA has so much crude oil coming into Galveston each year. I'm so surprised they're not even having storage problems at this point. I mean, what's next? Another big crash? I mean, the Sans Gratitude collision might have sent us a message about positive train control in Europe, but this collision could have been much worse if it was not for the baby in construction in 1920. This almost looks like eerily similar. If it went wrong, it'd be like the repeat of the Texas City disaster when the Campbell exploded." Now it's been 68 years since the accident, since the closure of the Stolen Empire SMP, and we must hope this accident never happens again. Hey guys, I want to give a massive thanks to No 10 Emperor for casting for the engineer, and I also want to give a massive thanks to Alex Freeman to publish this to be based off a fictional collision of the Stolen Empire SMP's history. I also want to thank Marcus Vu for the Stolen Empire SMP storyline. Not really, but whatever. Thank you for watching, and maybe I'll make another one sometime. So, goodbye.